Join Louisiana Right to Life in protecting the vulnerable as we share pro-life stories, insights, and news from the Pelican State. Welcome to the Pro-Life Pod.
Hey everybody, Ben Clapper here with Louisiana Right to Life, and welcome to the Pro-Life Pod. And today we have two great pro-life leaders in Louisiana who are getting ready in the last days coming up to our Pulse Leadership Institute, which is Louisiana Right to Life's week-long training for high school and college students to be the premier pro-life leaders of Louisiana and really beyond. And that begins on Monday, June 1st. And here with me to talk a little bit about that is Hannah Gilliam and Trinity Wilker. Welcome y'all to the Pro Life Pod.
Thank you for having us. We're excited.
I know you're just like now 72 hours when we're recording this, maybe a little bit more until the start of PLI. So y'all excited?
Yes, super excited.
Yes, I am so excited. I can't wait to see the kids and experience all that we have going on next week.
Awesome. Well, first, before we begin, maybe just introduce yourselves, each one. Maybe Hannah, go ahead.
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Hannah Gilliam, and I proudly serve as the Southwest Youth Director with Louisiana Right to Life. This is going to be my, I think, fourth PLI, once as a camper and then twice before as a staff member. And so it truly is one of the highlights of my year and a really good opportunity to be surrounded by my pro-life family. So I'm really excited.
Awesome. Thank you both for being on, and thank you for your dedication and service, because next week, Sunday to Thursday or Sunday to Friday, you'll be there. So you have a big week coming up, giving your all to these students and the cause. So just before we begin, thanks for all y'all are going to be doing over those 6 days in service to the cause. You know, I don't know if y'all know this, but we started PLI. It was then called Joshua Leadership Institute, but it was started all the way back in 2010. So I think we had 1 year where we didn't do it because of COVID. So I guess this is probably the 15th PLI or JLI, because we changed the name somewhere in the middle. So 15 years of training high school and college students to be pro-life leaders. That's pretty awesome, right?
I didn't realize.
Well, y'all do a beautiful job in your own right. So it doesn't matter what we did in 2010. And it's cool because we've had people from those early Pulse and Camp Joshua's come back as adults in different ways, getting involved or coming to galas or doing different projects on their own. So that's pretty cool to me, but it also is a reminder of how old I am, I guess, as well, especially when they bring their kids as well. So you've made a huge impact since. So glad that PLI could play that small role in helping you use your voice, which you've done a great job.
I oftentimes I honestly forget how much PLI played a part. I knew, for me, getting introduced to the pro-life movement in high school was an interesting beginning. It's kind of a similar background as Trinity of grew in a household where, the Bible was our foundation. And so I knew we believed whatever the Bible said, and that was it. So, you can kind of apply the same logic, but it just wasn't a conversation that we had, as a family or anything we had ever spoken about. And so kind of learning about people's experience, learning about the reality and the impact of abortion and the impact that it has on women. That struck a chord for me in the beginning. But to the point that I kind of kept it private and just like, hey, I don't want to bother anybody. I don't feel like, it's my personal business. And, cool. That's to the extent. And choosing to go to PLI. I think I was a freshman in college, and scrounging up enough money to make sure I could enjoy a fun week. Going to the camp, it actually allowed for me to have a chance that I could be proudly pro-life and to be educated in the foundation that I'm confident to speak out about it, not necessarily just from the platform of being a youth programs director, but just as, everyday person that has opportunities to advocate for life in the community. So PLI plays a genuinely pivotal role in just who I am and the mission of what everything that we do here. So so excited. It's a faith-filled week. The people there are great. It's very rare, especially in this day and age, to be in a room where you're surrounded by so many people that agree with this like beautiful ministry. And so it's just a once in a lifetime or once in a year opportunity that we have.
Awesome. Well, and Hannah, tell me a little bit about what happens at PLI for people listening. They're like, well, what do you actually do there? Because people may like, what was a pro-life retreat for a week? So tell me a little
Mhm.
bit about what happens and some of the things.
Yeah, so it's so much from being on the planning side. It is a lot of moving parts, but it's multifaceted in the way that there's so many different opportunities to hear different perspectives on it. So we kind of start off with impact of abortion. We go into culture of life, kind of pro life 101. We divulge into adoption. Students get the opportunity to go to a women's resource center or a pregnancy resource center in person and gets to really see like what an ultrasound looks like, gets to see the free resources that are provided. As well, they do a lot of practice in persuasion or just more conversation skills and how to carry yourself when you're having those conversations. And then they get a chance to actually go on a college campus and have conversations with people about it in a very kind and respectful way. And then as well, we have a lot of fun, whether it be bonfires or talent shows or games, all the things, of course, that keeps everyone wanting to be together like 10 hours a day for 5 days straight. But just so many opportunities to get different perspectives on it and making sure that we fully encompass what it means to be pro-life, valuing life from the womb all the way to the tomb.
So it's a combination of some like seat work, like classroom work, but
Hmm.
then a lot of going out and doing things, putting
Hmm.
those principles into action, and then a lot of fun mixed in throughout it. And that was my daughter Kate went the first time last year, and she came back just obviously on fire for the cause, but she just had so much fun the whole
Hmm.
time and built so many great relationships that she really cherished that part of the experience. Well, any stories from past PLIs or things, the impact that it's made in people's lives that y'all can remember and share off the cuff?
When I actually got a chance to do it, it was oh gosh, certainly an eye-opening experience. And the majority, I feel like, of the people we had spoke to when we went to LSU that time, were very receptive and kind. But we also had people who were professors and were just talking about like, oh, I'm educated in all these different things, and I have a master's degree and I have a doctorate, and this is why I'm pro-choice. And me feeling confident enough to actually have a conversation with someone who has a doctorate and talk to them about the concept of, understanding when does life begin? Why does human life have that intrinsic value? All those things. So, that's a little bit more personal for myself about what's my favorite, but I know we've had so many students go and talk about them starting pro-life clubs on their campuses from what they've learned at PLI. And just going back to their churches and their communities, going volunteer at pregnancy centers afterwards because they heard about the work that we do, as well as students learning what they learned and have family who may become pregnant and being that voice of reason as well. So many different great things that happen that comes to fruition because of this camp.
Well, I remember so when we've always gone, we've done the persuasion. You learn about persuasion, and you go out to LSU's campus, like you're saying, to have conversations with
Mhm.
strangers. Well, one year there was this girl attending PLI, and she must have been 5 feet tall, maybe. She was very short, maybe shorter than 5 feet tall, and she got into a conversation with some of the men's basketball players, and it was just like such a giant height difference, and you could see them going like they were she was really speaking truth to them, and they were considering it and having a successful conversation. So I just remember that as a little snapshot of the great things about PLI. Well, PLI starts Monday, June 1st, depending on when this video gets up. you may still have time to register. For students to register, you can check out our website. Maybe we'll put the link somewhere in this. Or do y'all remember the link to register off the top of your head?
I believe it's prolifepulsela.com or prolifepulse.com. One or the other. Okay.
One of those options
One
are
of the
going to
two.
get you there, or just Google Pulse Leadership Institute, Louisiana Right to Life. Find the website, register. If anyone has financial challenges, please let us know. There may be groups in your own home or your own church that may be able to sponsor students. It's going to be a great time, going to be a transformative time for these students really stepping in as maybe being pro-life and leaving really as pro-life leaders. Anything else, y'all, that y'all want to add about PLI, or any last words about why people should register to come?
I think it's a great opportunity to take students from, passively pro-life to proudly pro-life. So I really encourage people to have their students join us for PLI this year.
Awesome. Well, Hannah, Trinity, thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your service. I know I want to encourage as many people to be praying for both of you and for the team and for all the students attending, all the pro-life people around the state. We're just grateful for y'all's hard work, for your enthusiasm and your spirit and your dedication to this cause for life. So thank you both very much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, that's Pulse Leadership Institute, June 1st through 5th, coming up in just a couple days. If any students out there, please check out our website, see if you still have time to register when this comes out. We'd love to have you join us. Spread the word about this great event. And thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.